Hey everyone, it's Jennifer coming to you live, as I promised, from New York City to have our mindful moment today about how to find calm and clarity in a WTF world. I got a lot of response on that title actually, and I'm really excited, as always, to be with you and have this conversation. I hope that you were able to, I hope it was helpful to give you the time ahead of time and let you know that we were going to be doing this. And several people who reached out and said that they really wanted to see this and have this discussion. So let me start out, first of all, by telling you that I appreciate you. I appreciate you very much for making the time to be with me today. And I always appreciate the interaction and the thoughts that I get later and the direct messages that you send to me. So thank you for that, because I know you've got a lot going on and I want to make the most of this. So just a quick hello to, wow, Derek and Simon and Katie and Willie and Becky and David. And I hope I can keep up with this and give you the content. And if not, I promise I'll say hi as we go. So here's how this subject came up. First of all, at Mindful Leaders Academy, I founded Mindful Leaders Academy a few years ago. I've had my company for a very long time, but I brought it all together in this academy of leadership because of the work that I was doing with people in very high demand environments, whether it was a business that they owned or a larger corporation. And my core philosophy is that you make your greatest impact as a leader, not by what you know, but by how you carry your message, which has everything to do with your level of self, other, and situational awareness. So just know that that's where I'm coming from in this perspective. Knowing stuff is great, and you need to know stuff as you go up whatever respective ladder you go, but I'll tell you the greatest piece of it, leadership really comes with how you show up in a very intentional way. And listen, I work with amazing people, and the client that spurred this story today is phenomenal and really one of my favorite people on the planet. And I know him to be a person of great character and heart. And we've been working together for a couple of years now. And what was happening is that things were starting to really devolve. And and just as a disclaimer, I should have said this at the beginning, the F word might fly out of my mouth at some point during this conversation, this Facebook Live. And just because we say the F word from time to time doesn't make us bad people, but there's a mindfulness about that as well, I promise. But if you're someplace where, as my friend Stacy would say, if you're someplace where little ones can hear this, or at work where they can hear it, just put me, on mute or put your headphones on. So anyway, back to this client. The client in recent memory had really started to devolve into this what the fuck mentality, because there were lots of things going on that were outside of his control. I mean, if we really broke them down piece by piece by piece, they were not things he could control. Number one being his assumption of how other people should behave based on how he would do things. So he was losing his footing, and he was losing his sense of being grounded, and he was losing his enthusiasm. You know what I'm talking about. You just please give me a thumbs up in the comments anytime you might hear something that rings a bell for you, because again, the people that I work with are really intentional leaders. They want to have an impact in the world. They want to leave a great legacy, and we're humans. So sometimes the behavior goes a little backwards, and those habits start catching up with somebody. And so we were coming at it from a lot of different perspectives. And this morning we broke it down because he was breaking down. None of what he was trying in between the conversations that we were having was working, because he was going back to this WTF approach to things. Here's the thing about WTF, and we live in a WTF world. I'm not just talking about the chaos that's around us. I mean our response to the chaos. We have got that thing boiled down to OMG and WTF as a response to so much, as opposed to a more calm and clear way to look at things. It becomes our collective culture and nature in the face of something we don't like to go, oh my God, can you believe ... And that's when the indignation, or the worst part of it, the self-righteous indignation, starts to kick in, as though we've never misbehaved ourselves, as though we've never said, thought, or done something that another person might take exception to. So this indignation, listen, I'm all for activism and having an opinion about things and saying, hey, I don't like this. And the what's next of it is really what's most powerful. And as leaders, we have to be able to catch ourselves. And this is the conversation I had with the client this morning, to be able to step out of that WTF, can you believe that this person did something that was going to just benefit them? Can you believe that they didn't come in at the same time in the morning that I thought they should? Can you believe? Sure, I can believe that, because everybody's working from their own framework, whatever their belief systems are, their habits, for better or for worse. And as leaders, I believe, again, that our greatest impact comes by how we carry our message, how we show up in the face of uncertainty or chaos, if you will. And chaos doesn't have to be like global chaos. We've got a lot of that going on too. Sometimes it's the little things between us, the nagging things, but these nagging things had really built up for him and built up for him and built up for him. So we talked about, and I gave him specifics on, because this particular phrase, and I mean, and it's not just WTF, but the full phrase had crept into his being. Like it was coming out of his mouth so much in reaction to things that it was now becoming his come from. This is where he was coming from. And I knew him as a man of faith and energy and focus and determination, not fear and what the fuck about everything. And so we had to make that shift. Now, a lot of you know that I've been in recovery from addiction for a really long time now. It's been over 30 years. And I will never forget, and pray God that I never forget, some of the amazing sponsors I had, particularly early on. One of whom told me that you're not responsible for what pops into your head. You're responsible for what you do with it. Of course, I share my personal story with my clients as it's helpful. I mean, I never hold it back if it's helpful. And this client knows this about me. And I said to him, I shared that with him, that, you know, the fact that the WTF comes up in his brain, he's just human. But what he's been doing is chasing that thought and taking it down to its naturally awful conclusion, because then he was all fired up and fearful and second guessing himself and everybody else and getting those results. So as I promised, this whole conversation today is about how to find calm and clarity in the face of WTF. And let me just, a little aside here really quickly. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to do another live webinar that's going to be a deep dive on this subject, on this calm and clarity, because I have a whole mindfulness method that goes along with this. So give me a thumbs up in the comment section if it's something you think you might be interested in. I'll be sure you get the information. Essentially, what he and I talked about today is that this is about perspective. This is about the choice of, once the WTF comes up in my mind, what I do next. I don't have to give myself a lot of crap for having the thought. What I have to do is make the choice. And the next choice that we came up with for him was, WTF, let's go see. If we really want to ask the question, what the, you know what, then let's go see what the F. Let's go see. Let's go see it. But when I say see, I mean, let's go take a calm and measured look at it. Let's not get all wrapped up in what I feel about it or what I think people should be doing with it or how perfect I think you need to be. Let's go see. What the? Let's go see. And we did that. We did that one exercise over and over and over until it started settling into his bones. And trust me, the first time I told it to him, because it seemed so elementary, he looked like he wanted not to take a swing at me, but like, you got to be kidding me. It can't be this simple. It is this simple. It's not easy to break habits, though. It's not easy, particularly to break habits of self-righteous indignation, which clouds our minds, period. So, WTF, let's go see. And then we did that. We took three top of his three top WTFs, and we wrote them down. And then I said, let's see, let's take a clear look at what we're dealing with, and then we can do right action from there and move on and see what happens next. So how to find calm and clarity in a WTF world is a choice. And for me, that choice is driven by this unrelenting belief in the fact that what I know is not what it takes for me to lead you. You need to know that I am doing the work, the internal work on being calm, taking another route with things. The confidence that comes with that, we've got all sorts of methods that we teach at Mindful Leaders Academy for how to find the calm first, then the clarity, what clarity actually is, and how to take right action and all of those steps. Too much for us to do in this conversation, but like I said, we'll do in the webinar. But it's a choice. WTF? Let's go see. So I want to just take a look at the chat function and see some other people have joined us, Nancy and Andrew and Heidi and Chuck. And thank you all so much for making the time to be here. And I really hope this is helpful for you, because my great intention is to be able to bring you examples from the field of what my leaders are struggling with, what their commitments are to shift. I've certainly brought them things that I know from my personal development work and from recovery and from meditation and everything I can. And I appreciate what you've shared with me too about what works for you, because you've sent me some amazing messages on that. So how to find calm and clarity in a WTF world. That webinar is going to happen in a couple of weeks. Give me a thumbs up if it's something that you might be interested in. We'll make sure you get the information. Best thing to do really is to join my mailing list at the website, and that's in the description, in the Facebook Live description. Go over there and join the list if you haven't already. And we will do a deep dive on that. There is a 5-step mindfulness method for how to find calm and clarity in a WTF world. I hope this has been helpful for you today. Thank you so much for taking your time to join me, and I will see you again very, very soon. Have a great day.